Throughout its over 50-plus year history, Talladega Superspeedway is a track that has experienced all kinds of moments that range between being amazing to incredibly infuriating. I mean, that's how this track is. Since the day it was first built, it's been having controversial moments since the very first race they had, all the way back in 1969. And while everyone knows about how that race played out, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I am here to talk about is one particular race from this track's history that I think should stand as the true gold standard for Talladega races, and this is about how the 2001 Talladega 500 is that very race. Now, the 2001 Talladega 500 was held in the spring of 2001, in the same year that we lost Dale Earnhardt. And that's interesting about this race is that this is the first race held at the track since Dale Earnhardt himself got his 10th win at the track, which would also be his last win in the Cup Series. And this is also in the same year when the Cup Series was running a specially designated aero package for these superspeedway tracks that had a specialized roof fin on the car, as well as a small wicker on the top of the rear spoilers, which made it very easy for the cars to maneuver around the field and be able to utilize the draft better so that they wouldn't be strung out in single file lines. And this race managed to play out very intensely, and it played out in a way where it's the ideal Talladega race. It's the kind of race that you'd want to see from this track. And what's even more shocking about it is that it played out with no cautions. Yeah, there were no major wrecks, not even any real spins or anything of note that happened that made this race bad. This race was almost near perfect. And that's very hard to do because Talladega races are usually known for stuff like this.
Happy feet, wombo combo. That ain't Falco. That ain't Falco.
Holy crap! Ow!
Well, AJ, that was a humdinger.
Here we go! Ooh. Yahoo! Wow! Oh.
Too bad that didn't kill me.
Oh my God!
It's all big one, gang. It's the big big one. It's what we've all been fearing. This kind of racing is going to happen.
Sorry we couldn't crash more cars today. We didn't fill the quota for today for Talladega and NASCAR.
But aside from that, this race played out very crazy. But it was also a very fascinating type of crazy, where it's like you definitely felt like they were going to wreck, but they didn't. That's what's truly impressive about all the drivers in this field, is that they were able to keep their composure throughout the entire race, and they managed to finish it off in a way that really made it cement itself for what it's worth as a Talladega race. And what's even more fascinating is that look at here on the final lap. They're 4 to 5 lanes wide coming through the final 2 turns, and also coming through the tri-oval. They're still able to maintain that, and they're coming across like 4 to 5 lanes wide coming to the start-finish line. And the fact that they don't wreck while doing that is really impressive to see. And the winner of this race was the late Bobby Hamilton Sr. And this race ended up being his 4th and final win in the NASCAR Cup Series, before he would drop back down to the lower divisions just a few years afterwards.
Yes! Yes!
Time to pop it, baby.
And also, what's even more interesting is that this was the first win for the former Cup Series team owned by former NASCAR Cup Series crew chief Andy Petrie, and would be the team's only win as well. And what's really fascinating is that in the previous Talladega race held in the fall of 2000, that same car that was driven, that managed to win, was the same car that finished second to Dale Earnhardt when it was driven by Kenny Wallace.
Why, look at the baby sitting on their couch getting their rest on a Sunday while I'm working my ass off!
And I think it's also worth noting that this isn't the only Talladega race that played out completely caution-free. There were 2 other races around this time period that also played out in a very similar way. The first one was the 1997 Winston 500 that was won by Mark Martin, that had an average race speed of around 188 miles an hour, which therefore made it one of the fastest Cup races in the current era, that managed to finish off in just about 2.5 hours. And the second one was the 2002 EA Sports 500, which was won by Dale Earnhardt Jr., which would be his 3rd straight win at the track.
I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. is one of the most talented race car drivers that I've ever driven with.
Let's go, 4 in a row!
And I think what's really worth noting is that this race stands out more out of both of those, out of all 3 of these Talladega races. The 2001 Talladega 500 stands out to me, is that it was able to play out in a way that it didn't have to feel slow or dull in any of the moments. It constantly kept the energy up throughout the entire race. And it wasn't a single file dragging slugfest, which can happen a lot during these races. And by the way, still happened a lot in the future.
I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8 38s, 9 9s, 10 Mac 10s. The shits never end. You can't touch my riches, even if you had MC Hammer and them 357 bitches. Biggie Smalls, a millionaire, the mansion, the yacht, the 2 weed spots, the 2 hot blocks. That's how I got the weed spot. I shot Dread in the head, took the bread and the lamb spread.
And of course, there's the all-time classic Talladega race that will go down in infamy. It's just amazing because of how great it is.
Reese's Puffs, eat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. Reese's Puffs, eat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. Nowadays on cruise control. I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. And just like that, I'm on a roll.
Please. Please. Don't get me out of here. Please, I don't want to do this anymore. Please, please.
I mean, I think if we could make it a figure eight, it'd be perfect. It would absolutely be perfect here. It'd be better than what we got.
No.
So there you go. That's my opinion on why I think that this race at Talladega from nearly 20 years ago still stands up today as the race that holds itself true as the standard for what Talladega racing is meant to be. And for those of you wondering, will we ever be able to see a race like this again? I'll be real with you, the closest we've gotten to having a race like this was the 2020 Geico 500 just last year. The most that happened in that race was this one spin by Chase Elliott.
Yes! 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 No! 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 Fuck! Shit!
And of course, there was also this one save by Ryan Blaney, the eventual race winner.
That was a close one.
And of course, the biggest problem of all is the fact that there was the wreck on the last lap, where we had a couple of cars that were taken out going into turn 3 and then coming to the start-finish line. But aside from that, this race played out nearly perfectly and was also a very visceral Talladega race in its own respect. So I think there definitely is a way to recapture that kind of racing, even in the current era that the sport is in. In fact, I actually think that with this current aero package the Cup cars run, they technically are able to come as close to the aero package from 2001, and the racing is slightly similar in a lot of ways. It's almost like you could mirror the two races together and you could see a lot of similarities.
Coincidence? I think not!
And before I end this video, I want to close it off by showing you the post-race interview in Victory Lane that was given by Bobby Hamilton Sr. And I want you to get a sense of what it was like for him to win that race and to truly get a sense of how special this win was for him and the organization he drove for. Anyways, I'm MF17, and I hope to see you guys soon.
He'll be able to up the limit on his MBNA credit card now.
Bobby Hamilton, my microphone is soaking wet. You led just 3 laps. How did you win this thing leading so little?
I'm too damn tired to talk, Dick.
Catch your breath. Everybody in Victory Lane is in tears. The crew chief, Jimmy Elledge, is in tears. And Andy Petrie, the owner, first win, is in tears. How'd you do it?
Watched that 3 car last year. This car runs second to him.
Come on. I'll come on down with you.
I watched that 3 car last year hugging them cars.
Yeah.
Keeping his fun going. And then I seen Joe coming. I knew he was going to be okay. And this car finished second to Dale Earnhardt last year. Bless his heart, we missed him dearly here. I learned so much from that fall race here. And if anybody rode with me, he did. And thanks this guy right here, Joe. And
Good job, man.
Joe went home car.
To congratulate him.
I'm just tickled death for Square D. They've been fighting a long, hard road and everything. And Chevrolet, Goodyear tires. I mean, we were better on old tires. Goodyear tires are off. Unical. Anything I'm missing, I'm sorry. I'm new at this car, and I want to tell you what, I'm just happy to be here. I got a great teammate and a real good team.
You and Joe look absolutely physically drained. Was it the heat or the concentration, Bobby?
I tell you, I'm just really proud of everybody we raced against today, because I think it wore us out mentally just trying to be safe out there. I've seen more give and take today than I ever have here, and I'm just really proud of the people we raced against. This makes you proud to be in Winston Cup.
We had what we needed. We had a safe race, and congratulations to you as the winner.
I challenge anybody that don't think these guys are athletes. They just run 500 miles in 3 hours. Cockpits of those race cars, 130, 140 degrees. I challenge you if you don't think they're an athlete.
And Nemechek, who pushed Hamilton up into the lead, ended up 6th. Tony Stewart, the runner-up. Kurt Busch, first time ever here, is 3rd.
Impressive run by that rookie, I'm telling you.